Hello, Papercut here, back with another replay review. This time we have DJ Magaz. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but anyway, he's playing China. He is Bronze 3. He's playing against Smile, so is Silver 1. So we have some real beginner play here. Really love to see this. So we're going to watch this, see how we can help them out. Since our level is Bronze, I'm not going to go delve way too deep into strategy in this one. Mostly because at this level, our worry is more of just our consistent basics. So our opening, are we making unit? Are we making military? Are we making units? Are we balancing our eco at a starter level? Are we scouting? Looking for things like this, and then if those things are looking better, then I might potentially go into deeper strategy. But usually at this level, it's more about just consistent unit production, basic reaction skills, and trying to execute like a plan. Let's see. Chinese opening is complicated. Executes it. Very nice. A little bit of a delay there, but that's fine. Honestly, okay. Big deal at this level. You'd want that villager to be hitting that, immediately, but once again, no big deal. Get cheap. Get gold. Okay, so first, change here. You actually don't need 3 on gold. You only need 2. Then this might have a little bit more APM, so if this is difficult for you, it's okay, you don't need to do this, but when the villager that builds the village should build the village and be shift onto gold. The next villager comes out, goes on wood, collects like 4 to drop off to build mining camp, and then the villager on the gold makes the mining camp with the villager that got the wood, and then they get on the mining camp. You only need 2. You can rally literally to 10, and you could actually do both age ups for both landmarks with just the Imperial official. With just the Imperial official gathering gold regularly from the mill. How well this opening goes is how efficient you are grabbing from the mill. The way you do this is you check your scout, let them scout run for a minute, check back with your base, box over all food villagers, force drop off, put them back on sheep. Then you have him collect, drop off, and then come back. And you can do that by clicking, then holding shift, clicking E, and then putting it back on the mill. He'll drop off, come back to the mill. You have to be careful though, because if you misclick, he might start going everywhere. But you do that so you don't miss any food drop off, and you're not. The key is you don't want the gold count to get over 40, because that means when your official collects, he can't collect at all. So this opening build order really hinges on the gold gather. If you do 3 on gold, you're just going to have way too much gold, which is going to slow your age up. Which your Chinese age up timing is pretty important, because you need to drop both landmarks to get Song Dynasty. And if you're slow on that, then your opponent has time to take advantage of that. Okay. Sheet. Ooh, check the corner. Always check the corner. Boom, boom. And a relic. Check the corner. Often there's stuff in the corner, and you want to know what's in the corner, because that's going to be some of your safest resources if it gets to a bad situation. Ooh. No. Sorry, I yawned right there. My apologies. I'm recording at night here. Only age up with 1 because it's your first age up, and you want that villager to stay on food and keep collecting food. And obviously, you notice I already have 70 gold. You're almost halfway to the net gold you need, and you have 40 collect right here. So really, you're at 110. So you're already past the halfway point, and you're not at the halfway point of food. So just see there as an example of how fast gold collects. Because you have to think about it. While you're collecting food, you're also regularly spending 50 food. Do the Imperial Academy first with 1 villager. And then when you get enough for the barbican, use like 3 to drop the barbican. If you're dropping it here for the stone, I just don't agree with that. Reason being is, let's do some game. We need to do some game theory on this decision. What's the HRE going to do? Probably fast castle. So in that case, you're going to potentially be facing a flood of units before you can age up. So doing barbican on stone doesn't make sense, because if you want to do second TCA against his fast castle, he's not going to be at your base anyway. He's not making units, he's rushing castle, probably. You need a scout to see that. You want to be at his base by feudal to see that. When he ages up. But we can see he's dropping a tower. But anyway. And so you want the Barbican to protect most of your resources, because you have a threat of him like pushing. So I would have put the Barbican here. Look here. You want your barbican to cover multiple resources that you'll potentially use. This covers just stone and this like walking area, but you still have everything over here that he could walk through. You put it here, it covers wood, gold, stone, and wood. So it secures 2 wood lines, 2 golds, and a stone. And it shades farther back. By shading, I mean like he can't come this way to get here generally, so he has to come this way, and your sheep are still relatively protected, except he has like archers or things like that. And then you can go second TC because he is not going to be pushing you. If he is doing feudal aggression, 1 TC all in feudal aggression as HRE, you don't want to do 2 TC anyway. Your second TC is slow because you have to get both. You want to get both landmarks up, and then you want to get stone, and that just takes a lot of time, and he'll be at your base before you can finish that because HRE's eco is very good and their units are fast. And so in that case, you don't want to go to second TC anyway. And generally, second TC Song is bad against HRE because HRE can get on the relics and then they can rush imp, and now they have more villagers than you. So, against HRE, it's actually okay to do 1 TC all in. I've even seen people not drop the Barbican. They do just the Imperial Academy so they can get Imperial Officials, which Imperial Officials are your number one way to increase your eco. You want to always make sure you have like 4 of them and they're each observing something, or you have 3 observing and 1 that's collecting gold. And they do just that one, and then they just go all into units, and they're trying to catch the HRE player unprepared by rushing them with like normal archers and horsemen. And you might, in this case, his Aaken's so far forward, you can push him completely off his Aaken, and you could push him off gold and really mess up his age up. That's an opportunity for you. There's this like, it's kind of dogma they always go Song. You don't have to go Song. If you think about it, if you don't go Song, that's 600 resources you can put into units, production in units. And with your Imperial Officials, you can speed up the production of your units so you can get there faster. And then this is great scouting because you see he's towering the gold and he has a front Aaken. So he's being very, very greedy. So the adaptation is, can you punish this greed? Can you punish him trying to do this front Aaken to get this deer, to get this wood, to be on the gold? Like that's, once again, super, super greedy. Also, I really wanted you to scout back here because you're seeing all this food and gold he has back here. That's super greedy. And if you wanted to, you could have really pushed this. One, if he towers, you can always tower opposite side. So he towers here, you can make units, you can push him back and tower here, and you kick him off gold. So that's one option for you. 2, if you just make units and use archers, you can keep shooting at his villagers, and you'll just slow down his castle. And you did really well on food. He's almost out of sheep anyway. So all I'm saying is that like adapting this game is really important. And if you can see an opening based on the scouting, in this case, you know, all these things are forward, it's very exposed, then it's okay to go into units and just go for it. If you make him a Zugnus, even if he goes castle, a Zugnu mass will kill castle stuff because they shoot so much. Immediate Imperial Officials, 11 on wood. You see, Jack going stone, what does this Barbican do? Now we're walling. Now we're making barracks. Okay, so now you're in second TC. So let's talk about this decision. You've gone for a barracks, walls. So you spent what was probably around 200 to 300 wood on walls and buildings. If I did not see your opponent, if my eyes were closed and you entered the game, and I haven't looked north, and I can't see the flag, and all I see is what you're building, I would say he's playing against French. It's French for sure. He's scared of the raids. He's scared of, and he wants to be able to just wall up and protect his stone and get the age up and get the second TC. Oh wait, so I think it's HRE, who he saw has a tower, so he's fast castling. Why is he doing that? And that's a good question. Why are you doing that? And this is a big issue with, not a big issue, but this is something that comes up a lot at lower level gameplay is, are we building things that make sense in the moment? And a lot of times people go, well, I don't know what makes sense in the moment. So what's your goal? Is your goal second TC? So everything branches out from that. You want your second TC as fast as possible. So you make walls and buildings if you scouted your opponent, or military production, if you scouted your opponent is pushing you. Your opponent's pushing you, then you need those things. So if you set your Barbican well enough, you don't need to make units because you have a Barbican. But anyway, instead, you have not seen any military. You've seen a tower on gold, which generally indicates fast castle, and he doesn't want to make units. So you have nothing to worry about. He's not pushing you at this moment. There's no units coming. Nothing is coming for you. So instead, all you've done is severely slowed your second TC. A high-level Chinese player is dropping their town center could be dropping their town center about this time. So I would suggest watching how the two town center build for China on YouTube. Because for one, you don't want 10 on food. The second you hit age 2, you pull completely off food. You leave 4 on food, so you can keep making villagers, and or 5 because of how make them 15 seconds. And you pull all your other villagers, you split them between wood and stone. You get that second imperial official. You have 1 imperial official on stone and one on wood, and you're rushing that bad boy. You're rushing it. Only time you wouldn't do that is if you're against a Night City, really. And even then, going to TC is really hard. Like you generally, what people have realized is you don't need to do 2 TC all the time as China. 1 TC is fine. You're still getting more villagers in the song. So if you're getting pushed or you need to attack, 1 TC is fine. The Imperial officials provide you a lot of eco. So yeah, rant over on this part. But this is just going to take you so much longer, especially because you're still keeping 10 on food, which I don't know why we're doing 10 on food. You want to get the TC up as fast as possible. We also want an Imperial official on the stone. So you missed a round of drop off. We're doing another tower, which, why are we doing this tower? You have the Barbican. Barbican's not covering it, then why is it here? Why wasn't the Barbican here? This actually isn't bad Barbican. You secure berries, stone, and wood. So you need to use whenever you have a civ, and this is for anyone watching too, that way you have a defensive landmark that can secure resources. Your goal is to secure as many resources as possible that's not insanely far away from the TC. Like if you did it over here, that's a little crazy, because it's an age up, it takes time, yada yada. But putting a Barbican like here, 2 wood lines and deer protected, great. Putting it here, but just putting it in the middle of nowhere where you feel so unsafe, you feel like you have to drop another tower, which is another 100 wood that you've just spent. That just shows bad placement. Once again, this is just taking a very long time. He's clicked up the castle. And since you focus so early on wood, because you feel like you needed these walls, this tower, this production building, you got so late to the stone. Okay, now we drop in second TC. You want to make sure you're watching the resources, so you pull up at 350. And your opponent's at castle. So, how you can actually make this work is if instead of walling the wood lines and everything, you had walled relics. Imagine if you had put a square around this relic, and you've walled in this relic already. You've now stopped him from gathering 4 of the 5 relics, which means he has to build units to destroy those walls, and that buys you time to then rush castle and then potentially make units and stop them. The issue of making units and defending them is that he could just make castle units and kill most of the units you could make in feudal, so that won't work. Unless, of course, you were like feudal all in, you had Zugnu around his base. Like, if you had attacked, he would have been pushed off food, now he's out of food, now he can't do anything. Where this plan as China really, really fails is if he goes Burgrave. If he goes Burgrave and starts spamming men of arms into your base, you have really nothing to kill them at all, and they just shut down your eco and you die. Imperial official, check. We're quickly producing spears. Don't. Just make another wall. Wall yourself in. You need 1 on wood, 1 on food. You need to start gathering gold, so you need 1 on gold. And then the rest, you have 1 that's just free floating and gathering around the map. Around your base, you want to get wheelbarrow. It's really, really, really important. It's really good. But just fully wall in. Stop making spears. If he just makes men at arms, those spear die, so it's not really worth making them. They're not even upgraded. But now the goal is, like, how do you catch up? Well, you need a rush castle, make units, and push. You had a chance to stop his relics, but since you didn't do anything, now he's grabbed 3 relics. And since your TC was so late, you don't even have that much of a vill lead. So you have 49 vills. He has 31. That's bad on him. He's not making villagers. So your opponent's not making consistent villagers. So you do have a pretty big villager lead, but basically, with his juiced relics, every relic he gathers is basically like 4 villagers, 3 to 4 villagers worth of gold. So he has 3 relics. I would actually say he has like 40 villagers. So your vill lead has been cut in half. And his imp is cheaper. You can do Palace of Swabia. Palace of Swabia is a cheaper Imperial Age landmark, but it also provides lots and lots of villagers quickly. So in this situation, what's our goal? Why do we have 15 on wood? Our goal is to get to castle as soon as possible, because if we stay in feudal and he stays in castle, he will make castle units and we can't defend them. So we need to rush castle, which means we need to get off wood. I would leave like 8 on wood and get really heavy on food and gold and gather as fast as possible. These towers aren't helping you. What are these towers going to do? Now, Don't get me wrong, an upgraded tower with cannon slits is helpful, but you'd want to put that in your eco, where if he dove with men-at-arms, you'd want your villagers to hide in them and be protected. Putting them out here doesn't do anything, because he can run his men-at-arms past these fences and onto your helpless villagers. So if you're going to tower to defend yourself from attack, tower on your resources. Just wall here. Just wall here to buy yourself time if he attacks. And then as your villagers cut through wood line, keep dropping lumber camps so they're not walking so far and drop enough resources. The farther the villagers have to walk, the less resources they are gathering. You're doing a good job consistently producing out TCs, that's good. And then I jinxed it. I just jinxed it for you. I jinxed it. Move the Imperial Official. Move the Imperial Official. No, this is so much food. Oh, that's like you just lost 60 food. That's how important the Imperial Officials are. We're doing mass palace guards. Here's the concern. His men-at-arms are some of the most juiced men-at-arms in the game. They do extra damage against and against heavy units they do extra damage. Your palace guards have less armor. They're just faster. But his men-at-arms are also faster. And he has lanchnets. So you should have gone mass crossbows, palace guards, and crossbows and nested bees. You do those three things, you are golden. Mass crossbows, mass men-at-arms, mass siege, and you are good to go. But just pure palace guards, you will lose that fight. How do I know what to make? Ask yourself, what is my opponent? What units does he like to make generally? And scout. Go scout. Where's your scout right now? Sitting here. Why? So, what are you going to learn sitting here? Now, I don't expect you to micro your scout all the time, but it's worthwhile every few minutes to just go, I'm just going to walk by his base. Because if you walked by his base, you would see, he doesn't have very much production. Oh, here's his army. And you would have maybe run past it. Oh, that's not much. You're actually in a great spot right now. 64-14, 33-16. Not a bad spot. You would scout and see his production building so you can guess what he's making. You might even see his army. Scout. You could scout up here and see, oh, he's on deer, he's on stone. Scout. So use your scout even after the Dark Age to continue seeing so you know what to make. That's really, really helpful. Please do that. Because now you're playing in the dark. Nested bees instantly. In castle, you want to get a nested bees instantly. Why are we dropping a ram? Once again, if I was to not see what's happening and the game flipped on and I see this, I'm like, oh, there's a tower right here. He's gonna go kill the tower. There's no tower here. So if you're dropping a ram here, if that's to attack his base, no, you walk to here and drop the ram. Walk to here, right outside his base, and then drop the ram, because it's gonna take forever for this ram to cross. It's gonna take so long. So don't do that. Instead, just make units, and if you want to make siege, drop one, you have the astronomical clock tower, which gives siege extra health anyway, so rams out of them are really good, so you don't have to waste your units time making anything. They can just come out of the astronomical clock tower. Or two, you could also just drop more siege workshops and do nested bees out of the astronomical clock tower and do rams out of the workshops. So you just, once again, you don't have to wait for your villagers to make it, and you wouldn't have to make it so far back. I mean, if you make it here, it's far back. You can drop a siege workshop like here if you want. Once again, we're making things about knowing. What does your opponent have? What is he running? You just went to this food source without ever knowing it. Is he out here? Is his units out here somewhere? Towers are good. Please do a new lumber camp. You know how he knew you were there? The scout was here. Once again, not a great spot for a scout, but he did see your villagers cross. Also, if he's him, he's thinking, where are the food sources? Where could his units be? I'm going to check this food source. Or there they are. So since you didn't scout, you never checked where his units are, and you didn't pre-check the hunt before going on it, then you lost a lot of villagers. You notice how slow your army's moving right now? Like molasses. And that's the problem with when you put all your villagers in the same food source. If they're knocked off of it, you now have no food. At this point, it's worth starting to go granaries. So you actually want to take your villagers and start making granaries back here. And you want to group the villagers on stone because you want granaries, and you want to keep on those granaries as soon as possible. Granaries are the most important thing for you. Basically, once I hit Castle as China, I'm still using food sources on the map, and my Imperial Official is going to those food sources with my villagers, but then as much as possible, as I'm getting extra wood like you are right now, grab groups of food villagers and make granaries. Granaries. Just make granaries on the back, because if you can get 3 granaries with farms around them, your food is some of the best in the game. Without more range, those lands just going to wipe your army. Then you're going to go attack. Nope, you're not going to attack. You're making another ram. Why are you making more rams? How are these rams going to help you in this fight? You know what would have been great in this fight? Nest of Bees. Nest of Bees are some of the best units you can make. They're the best siege in the game. That's 4 units, like a Mangonel type. It's so good. If you had 3 Nest of Bees instead of 5 rams, you would wipe his army. Wipe it! Because Nest of Bees are so good. So you have to make your power units. Make your power units. But you're sacrificing this eco lead now because you never switched into your like. What is China good at? China's good at siege. China's good at farming eco because that's why you have specialties up. So use those things. And as China, you want to switch to farms as soon as possible. Unlike other civs, you do want to switch to farms as soon as possible because your granaries are so good. More ranged. More ranged. You can't fight. So see what happened? You can't fight HRE melee to melee. You need a ranged mass. Bigger than that. But that's why, I mean, you have the resources for siege. Just get Clock Tower. Get Clock Tower and Nest of Bees. Get Siege. Siege is your friend. Nest of Bees are your best friend. If you get 6 Nest of Bees, you don't even need rams anymore. You don't even need rams. Just make Nest of Bees. Well, you want Spring Ults, because he'll make Spring Ults. But 3 Nest of Bees, 4 Spring Ults, with enough units so they can't just dive the siege, and you're gonna win. You know what he's doing right now? He's making units. I haven't looked yet, but here's what I think is happening. Since he pushed you off food, and you didn't efficiently get on food, you started walling up. You didn't drop granaries or farms or anything. You haven't been able to make units. But since he's been on food, I'm guessing he's been adding farms around his Aachen Chapel. He's been able to consistently make units, and now he's making a lot of units. Survey says, boom. Oh, he made a Mangonel. But he's made farms. He's on his other food sources undisturbed. He's dropping imp. He's moisturized. He's ready to go. He's unbothered. But that's because he actually did add onto his eco, and he did make sure things were set up. And now he's going to keep making units and beat you. So he actually had a huge advantage right into castle. If he had entered castle and immediately made palace guards, crossbows, and Nest of Bees, scouted to see where his military was, and then took a fight, you would have rolled over him, been pushing to his base right now. You could have raided with palace guards, kicked him off his food, just ran around his base looking for villagers, killed them, and then won. Another thing you can do is, if you had also dropped an Imperial Palace, which if you got farms, if you got granaries up, isn't that expensive? Because look how much wood you have, man. So much wood. You could have used Imperial Palace ability to see where his villagers are, and then you raid with horsemen or palace guards. When it comes to eco balance, really important thing that you do is consistently check your resources and ask, what do I have a lot of? What do I not have a lot of? What can I use with my extra resources? So you should have looked and seen you have a lot of wood. What can you make? Granaries. Granaries are so good. It's my special build. It's my special building. My special little building. And you make that. You pull villagers off wood and you make that. And then you keep rallying to wood, because why not? Wood's an easy resource to rally to, because then you can quickly pull villagers off wood lines and do other things for them. As China, you need to do a special extra step of checking where my imperial officials, so they're not wasted away. One's looking at a military building, one's gathering taxes, which is good, one is staring at a leper camp. So we need to make sure we're using our imperial officials correctly. At this point, this game's over. It's over because you were not making villagers, so you stopped making villagers. You lost a lot of villagers. He's an imp, and he's making units. He's just in a lot better spot than you. We can't stop making villagers when something bad happens. We have to keep making villagers. And there's the push. And that's GG. So I kind of explained everything earlier, but efficiency of opening, scouting lets you know what they're doing, and then you can react more efficiently to that. Scout dies, make another one, especially if you're on 2TC. 2, adjust your resources by constantly checking and asking what I'm trying to do, and fix villagers based on that. And then make more consistent military. Make a power comp, which for you is power, palace guards, crossbows, and Nest of Bees. Use that to push, and adjust your eco faster. Lean into what you're so good at. In this case for you, it is granaries with farms in the back. so your food goes off the wall. And then just your Imperial officials. I hope that was helpful to you. Let me know if you have any questions. Love that you're playing China Man. I'm glad you're not falling into the, since I'm lower level or newer to the game, I need to play English or I need to play French. No, you can play any civ. I'm glad you're trying this one. You will be a better player because of it. Good luck in your games, man.